Welcome to the Waste of Web Space podcast, episode 70.
Starring
Jimbo.
and Fisher.
And
Now,
yeah.
I can't but help notice, Jimbo, that we can't see all of you. Or we can just about see the bottom half of your face, but not the top half. And we can see a surprisingly large amount of your kind of nether regions, really, I suppose.
Is it like because do I seem a bit like Terry Wogan of Points of View of yesteryear when he were kind
all
of
those years ago.
showing too much of his middle section? Is that kind of what's going on?
Yeah. So what's happening? Why are you on such a high chair?
Well, obviously, I've had a few chair issues over the last few weeks where I got a new chair and then I got the new chair taken off me, and now I appear not to have a chair again. Or have a different chair this time. So I don't know what I'm just a bit annoyed because every time I get a new chair, it gets taken off me. So I'm now stuck on this bar stool.
Well, is that bar stool rejected from a pub that are no longer allowed to have bar stools?
Exactly, yeah.
So if you want to go to a pub, you're not allowed to sit at the bar. They've had to be got rid of. So you've got to go in and nabbed another chair that you found, presumably at the side of your house somewhere.
Is this a little bit inconvenient?
It is, yeah. Are you able to swap back to something else?
It's fine. I haven't really got. I have actually got my old chair, so it's okay. 1 minute.
Well, smoothly does it. So what a great start to this episode that is. So we've obviously got a subtitle for this episode, which is episode 70, and I believe the subtitle, am I right, Jimbo, is Club Covidana?
It is Club Covidana. And Club Covidana out in the sunshine.
So you're going to sing it in the style of Liam Gallagher by the looks of it?
No, we're back now. Is that all right? Is that better?
That's all right.
Okay, yeah. So Club Covidana, because of course it is now. The pubs have reopened. Have you been to a pub yet?
I have not been to a pub yet. My local pub has not reopened yet.
No, it hasn't, has
because
it?
they want to leave it another few days, or they'll open next week instead.
Yes,
or this week, depending on when you said it.
Fingers crossed there will be, but I think I'm going to be one of the people who I'm going to just take it steady because I'm looking forward to going back to the pubs, but I'd like the proper experience at the same time. I don't know if you feel the same about that.
Yeah, I suppose you're a bit more on edge if all of a sudden you have to change what you're doing, if you can't stand in the place you want to stand, if you have to walk in the front door and go out the back door and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it will be different. I suppose there'll be some people who just like to have the ambience and the surroundings of being around other people again. Or perhaps I suspect some people would be that keen to drink inside they've been in it for long, will just carry on doing that. I don't know.
Shall we just have the actual song then, shall we?
Go on, let's play the song.
Here we go. Let me take you to a place where we wear masks on our face and order drinks from our phones, where friends still can't shake your hand. It's sanitizer wonderland, an hour queue to the bar. Club Covidana, drinks on me. Wear your face mask, keep a safe distance apart. Drink and watch out for disease. Don't drink the craft ale, it's from Wuhan. Club Covidana, drinks on me. Wear your face mask, keep a safe distance apart. Drink and watch out for disease. Don't drink the craft ale, it's from Wuhan. So that probably nicely brings us on to drinks, doesn't it? Which we need to get opening on with. So what are you going to be drinking in Club Covidana? Covidana.
After on Monday when I had some Hobgoblin from the Winchwood Brewery, a legendary ruby beer. Guess what I've gone for today? Give it its Club Covidana. A bit more something, a bit more different. Have you got a cocktail? That's what I'm going to say. No, I've got the same again.
Oh, all right.
I've got a few cans that need drinking, so actually quite nice. So going for exactly the same drink. Hobgoblin, traditional ruby beer, brewed with roast malts, well balanced, rich, smooth taste, full of mischievous character. A bit like us too, Jimbo.
Well,
except ignore the rich and smooth taste bit, but full of mischievous character certainly.
Great of you to find a different beer for the podcast, Fisher. Well done with that.
Well, there is no requirement to have a different beer every time. It's all well and good you getting 24 different beers delivered to you because you changed jobs at work and they went and gave you that as a present.
So I had quite a strong one last week, didn't I? I had that night shift, which was a black IPA. And this week I've picked. This is the one I put in the fridge, and I probably wouldn't have if I realised how strong it was actually, seeing as it's middle of the day. But this is another 6.5er, so this is a 6.5% of this one, and it's called Hoptopod, which is quite good for a podcast, isn't it? I suppose. Again, it's another IPA in hops, we believe, and it's from the Dogma Brewery, which I think I've heard of before. It's an Indian pale ale, and it's brewed in. I'm not sure the Dogma Brewery, but where that is, I've heard of it. Struggling to work out exactly where it's from, but there you go. As with these things, I normally find out about 5 minutes later. But
have you ever thought what you could do is actually look at the can before the episode starts, and then find out where it's brewed?
Got a lot on, Fisher. Yeah. I was struggling at a great height before the podcast, if you remember the way we started it. So anyway,
you've got a better elevation to look down on the can, then, haven't you, and see where it's from, where it's all about.
So anyway, there we go. What have you been up to?
I went for a walk. Actually, I've got a donut here that I'll eat at some point during the episode. Krispy Kreme. It was my wedding anniversary. Fun enough, on the same day as my wife's wedding anniversary, it so happened during this week, and my wife very kindly ordered some Krispy Kreme donuts for us that was delivered to the house. It was very nice of her. Very nice. We went for a walk to a local reservoir. You know what it did? Chucked it down with rain. Every time we go there, it rains. So yeah, it's just one of those things. Can't control the weather, can you?
Well, no, you can't.
What I did find out actually, if you've got the Krispy Kreme box, have you been on Zoom where you can mess around with the backgrounds?
Yes.
And it's great fun doing that.
It'd be great if we could just go like this and then just, but that's not being live. We can't do that.
Well, we are live.
Yeah.
But we're not on Zoom. We're on Skype.
Yeah.
And Facebook and all that sort of streaming stuff and whatever. What I found out is that if you move a bit, you can kind of disappear on the background, and you'll disappear off. But what I found out is that if you've got the Krispy Kreme box and you open it up and look through the film will hide you on your Zoom background and you'll disappear.
That's clever.
Live on screen. Quite impressed.
I was hoping you were going to say your head turns into a donut or something like that.
No, it's not quite that advanced. It's just a bit of film, and you can disappear yourself, which I was quite impressed with.
Yeah.
I was on a quiz on Friday night, which we came last in, which was a bit annoying, but never mind. It's all the fun of taking part of it is the thing, not the winning. Kind of. So
if only we took that attitude with our quizzes to each other on this podcast.
Well, it's the taking part or the desire to do well.
Yeah.
Because we normally do historically quite badly on these quizzes, don't we?
We do.
So yeah, for our Zoom background, me and Vicky put pictures of ourselves behind us on the settee, and then started the Zoom, and we sat kind of a little bit closer together, so it got sort of both of us peering over our own shoulders.
Did you look like you were each of us children almost, like you had like children matching, like it was a family photograph, but you
not quite. We just pulled some quite strange faces, so I kind of got stuck in this position a little bit. It was kind of though we were almost smelling a fart, both of us. I think we were going peeking around the corner. But yeah, all good fun. What have you been up to, Jimbo?
Well, I've been watching the Sheffield Wednesday match, which was horrendous, and probably lost a few hours of my life there. And then that led me to find out that I didn't know this. This is, I think, a dark secret that I didn't know about before. But your wife is a Sheffield United fan. You kept that one quiet.
No, I'm. What's wrong with that? She's a fan of Sheffield United, and I bear no particular malice towards Sheffield United. I would like to see them do well. In an ideal world, I'd like them to finish. I would be absolutely fine with Sheffield United being runners-up in the Champions League final as long as Sheffield Wednesday were winners, kind of thing. I know there's some Wednesday fans who
that's a skewed reality you've got there.
Well, no, I don't quite understand why you would why you would have such a rivalry against your opposition team. For me, Sheffield United doing well should be the target that Sheffield Wednesday should be aiming high and trying to get above them.
Yeah, well, I remember about 20 years ago, when Chris Turner became the manager of Sheffield Wednesday, him saying that we'd be in Europe in, I think it was either 5 or 10 years, but both of them are ridiculous. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, shall we move on?
Let's move on.
The Hoptopod IPA is very, very nice, by the way. I do prefer it to the night shift beer that I had last week. Anyway.
In terms of beers I much preferred the one I had on Monday. This one is awful.
That one not
really
being in the fridge long enough, Fisher. So,
but there we go.
It's time for show and tell. It's my turn for show and tell this time. And I have got with me today something that I'm wearing. You spotted it earlier on when we were warming up. And by warm up, we like run around the living rooms, don't we? We do a few stretches, exercises, vocal cords, all that kind of thing. But this is, as you can see you see it clearly there, Fisher?
It looks like it says Burger King on it, and I'm assuming on there it's probably also got your name, I would have thought.
Well, I'll just hold it up so you can see it a bit clearer. Is that better?
It says team member, and it says Jim.
Jim, yeah, okay. So, now, I don't know how many people know this, and I think you do know this, Fisher, but I worked, my first ever sort of job, part-time job on leaving school, was at Burger King. And it was for a couple of months before a local pub around here, which is now a Green King, part of the Green King chain, Meadow Farm opened. So I worked in the sort of interim at Burger King for a couple of months until Meadow Farm opened. And then I worked there for a number of happy years, which were a big part of my learning to work and to work with others and all that kind of thing. Important part of your life when you first do your jobs. I remember you worked as well, didn't you, Fisher? You worked at Morrison's, didn't you? At the same sort of time.
Actually, my first job upon being a college student was actually working for Mike Ashley at Sports Direct, Sports Soccer as it was at the time.
Okay.
For a very short period of time, for about 6 weeks or so, and then I left and went and worked at Morrison's.
Right, okay.
So, is Meadow Farm part of Green King? I thought it was a farmhouse inn.
I think it's still under Green King, though. I think it's still under Green King, or whether the brewery, the people who provide the beer and stuff, there's some link there, but it is a farmhouse inn. You are correct, but they've got numerous different branches. You see, so Green King also
different brands
has
within the.
Yeah. So anyway, I may have got that wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. But anyway, so I worked at Burger King. Now, the story behind this badge, then, what is the story? It does say my name on it, as you can see, but there's two possible stories here, and I'm going to put them on as a poll so that listeners or viewers, in particular, obviously, because it's the viewers that are going to be able to do this, can actually take part and have a go themselves, okay? So, what is the story behind this Burger King badge, okay? First of all, reason number one, it was someone else's badge and it wasn't actually mine. Or reason number two, I went by a completely different name for most of my time at Burger King before getting this badge. So those are your two reasons to quiz me on a little bit more, find out which is the real reason and which is the false reason. Okay.
So, is it just the case? Did someone else have a badge with the name James on it, for example? What was the name that was designated on your badge that you didn't get?
So, what we're talking about here?
So, in the first example, you said obviously that badge belonged to someone else.
Oh, right, okay. So
presumably someone called Jim.
Yeah, well, obviously it would have been somebody else called Jim. So basically, when I got there, I do get called Jim a lot these days in the office, but I am in my 30s, so it's kind of expected. But when I was like 16, I'm not sure I expected to be called Jim at that age. So I started working there and they said, "We'll get your name badge sorted," and then they went, "Actually, old Jim left, didn't he? Go and get his badge. You can have that one." I was quite disappointed because it was my first job, and I wanted my badge with James on it, or Jimbo at least. Not the kind of. I didn't want to be aged that fast. I didn't want to be upgraded to Jim after only a few days in my new job. I didn't want to be. I didn't want that to happen.
Do you think?
I'm
did you not try and get
the name Jim now, but
Do you not try and get an interim step in there? Because Jimbo surely is quite a young name, isn't it?
Yeah.
So would you not try to move on to a Jimmy, sort of in your 20s, and then progress on to Jim in later life, or is there a succession plan for that?
I realise you have no control over what you get called in life.
I know.
Obviously, we spoke before on this how I got my name Jimbo in the first place was because there was too many Jameses in the football team, and I suggested all sorts of names,
Yep.
and the legend Richard Bunyan gave me the name Jimbo because I was sat there going, I don't know, Jimmy, Jumbo, Willie, because my second name's Wilmshurst. Thankfully, nobody picked up on that.
Jumbo Willie, did you just say?
Yeah, nobody wanted to go with that one. They said it was unrealistic. Oh.
Terry Wogan pose earlier on.
But no, I got the name Jimbo. But then, yeah, I did. To be sort of, to get the name Jim at the age of 16, I was quite disappointed. But this was somebody else's badge. It was old Jim who'd gone and moved on or retired or whatever, and they just dug it out and give it me.
Okay, so on the second example, you said that for a while you went under a different name at Burger King. Can you give us details of how that occurred?
So, in this example, this badge is finally the badge that I got after wanting my own badge for a while. Before that, I had to have the name badge that said Adam on it. Well, because apparently it was part of the uniform to wear a badge, so they just gave me Adam. So I was stood at the till serving people with the name Adam as my name tag, and because this Burger King restaurant was in a popular place, it was in Meadowhall basically. A lot of my friends would come past to see me and to say hello. So when they came in and they saw my name badge Adam, they found that quite funny, and then they found it funnier because obviously there's a lot of staff at Burger King and there's a lot of people doing shifts. People just decided to carry on, not decided to, but they just assumed my name was Adam. And I've mentioned this before, I'm not great at correcting my name when people get it wrong. I kind of go with it because it's just easier. And I'm all for the easy life. So I started responding to Adam, and my friends saw me responding to the name Adam.
Could you not just said that it wasn't you working there, and to any friends that you got, that you must have been a doppelganger for this person called Jim, who they must know, and you were in fact called Adam. So how long before the name badges were swapped and it was corrected?
Oh, I got this pretty much maybe a week or two before I finished, and I was there for about 2 months, so it was pretty pointless.
Present for you then.
I also want to point out, and this isn't necessarily funny, but I think it's worth mentioning. I found it a little bit like jokey at the time, although it's actually not, and I think people should point out, and I should point out that it's not okay. But when I was working there as well, there was somebody who was a little bit over-friendly, who was quite a lot older than me at the time as well. And it was a lady. And maybe she was just being a bit jokey, and stuff. And it didn't bother me because it didn't bother me, but it would bother some people. But my friends also saw that occurring as well. So, I'd kind of get my ear tickled or back in my neck tickled while I was pouring the drinks and stuff, which was a bit unusual. But I would point out that anyone else who experiences that and doesn't like it, you must say so, and you must report it to your managers. But that was something that happened as well. So all in all,
you can't report it to your manager because wasn't she your manager anyway?
Well, exactly.
That's the whole problem with some of these things, isn't it?
Exactly. And I'd only been there 2 months, and I got like whipped creamed and everything on my leaving when I left. Like I was attacked by food, and they got all sorts of stuff and threw all sorts. Like it was a lot of it was quite genuinely friendly, and I did get with a lot of people there. But yeah, I even got on the last day, like proper whipped creamed and everything, like shaving foamed or whatever it were, like it was my last day at school, which was a bit unusual at the time. But say I've only been there 2 months. But anyway,
did they know that you'd stolen your name badge to keep it for sort of whatever it'd be? 14 years later?
They could have right? They could have kept it and given it to a young, fresh, from school person who wanted to go by the name of James, but then was given the name Jim. They could have done the same thing to them. So yeah, I still wasn't happy with the fact that I'd been given Jim. I don't know. I didn't ask for Jim, but I ended up getting Jim. So did
you ask for Jimbo or James?
I can't remember, to be fair. I don't know if I had much say in the matter, but I was a bit surprised when it came back as Jim. But the main part of the second story is that I went by Adam for quite a while.
Okay. So it's time to make a decision, I suppose, isn't it? Did you take Jim's name badge, or were you referred to as Adam for a while? Now, I think I think you were just given Jim's old name badge and said it was fine.
Okay. Is that your final answer?
Yeah, but I am historically very bad at doing these.
So, yes, and it was the case that I was given a name badge that said Adam on it and had to sort of put up with that for a while. And after a while, you know, I just kind of, people called me Adam and I just accepted it and got on with it. And my friends saw me accepting the name Adam and responding to it. But that's what happened. So that was my short stint at Burger King. I did have happy memories. They weren't just those ones of being called the wrong name and being tickled
or having
on
your
the
ear
neck.
tickled. Yeah.
But anyway, so I hope you enjoyed that. Did you like it?
Very good. Well done, Jimbo.
Thank you very much.
Or
and,
Adam, whatever your name is.
Yeah, that's fine. I think I'll just stick with Jimbo for the rest of the episode, if that's all right.
No, I think on the next introduction to episode 71, we've got to say starring Adam and Fisher.
The pubs are back, and feel free to get yourself down to the local boozer. There's plenty on this week at the King's Arm's Length. The great news is that the Chancellor wants us to go out and get smashed. But watch out at the Queen's Head, he's got a face mask on. Why not nip for a pint at the Cricketers Inn, even though they're not allowed to play? Oh, wait a minute, they can play now. You could pop along to the Prince of Wales, but you might still be self-isolated. Whatever you do, avoid the Duke of York. What you got for us then, Fish?
I've got a jam down at that meeting at the moment.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. And I've got some jam on my fingers now, but never mind. So I've got a quiz about YouTubers, because I was a bit interested, because I had a look. I made the mistake, Jimbo, of having a look at how many people watch us on YouTube. Turns out, not very many, but nonetheless, yeah, it's nice to actually be out there and have some fans. It's
not our main audience, is it? We do quite well on Facebook though. By time a week's gone by and people have had a chance to have a look at it, and on our stats as well. Spotify's been a big one for us now that we're on there as well.
Okay, well, all we can do is produce as good a quality podcast as we can, and if people watch it, then great. And if they don't, then
I would like to point out that in the early days, though, we were actually, and you know, people might find this funny or not believe us, but we were some of the original YouTubers, weren't we? We really were. Like we you know, it was only launched 2005, was it? YouTube. I think I was on there in 2006, and you shortly after.
I started doing my video series, The Fish Tank, in 2007. Sort of 13 years ago. So I'm a fairly experienced YouTuber. Obviously, I think you'd already put some stuff on there before, and as YouTube was starting to kind of gather a bit of a head of steam.
Well, I've got one video that's on there that's got 250,000 views, 250,000 views, and that's as a result of it being one of the early videos on YouTube in that first year, and it was just simply named Funny Phone Call, and it was someone we know, CJ, and I kind of adapted a phone call that he made home to his dad and made it look like they were having a completely different conversation, which was it's pretty funny. But I think it just gathered so many views because it was one of the first sort of videos on there, really. So there was less videos for people to search through. Now, obviously, there's a lot on there, isn't there, that's quite hard to get your material found and so on. But, you know, there's other videos on there as well. We've both done quite a lot, haven't we? So, you know, if you want to have a look at some of our classic stuff, it's all on there and on the wasteofwebspace.co.uk website.
Yep. It's not the end of it. We don't have to promote this stuff now. It's not the end of the episode, Jim, like we are normally. So I thought I would have a little bit of a look at some of the YouTubers who are out there, because I was amazed when I was speaking to someone a couple of months ago as well, and they referred to someone as their favourite YouTuber. And so, yeah, I thought I'd ask a couple of questions about YouTubers and what they've done and what's notable about them, some of the controversies that they've had. And
it's actually a career aspiration, you know. Because I've worked in schools for quite a few years, and over the last, I would say, 4 or 5 years, when I kind of I've done little sort of surveys or mini surveys with students at the start of sessions, saying, you know, what is it you'd like to be when you get older? A lot of students, particularly younger ones, are kind of aspiring to be YouTubers as well. So it isn't a sought after career profession as well.
I'm sure it's not just trolling you personally, seeing how many viewers we're getting and saying, let's wind him up by claiming it's a profession if you can actually get some success out of it, because we know that they're not.
Possibly.
There we go. A question I could have just said was, which YouTuber produces rubbish videos? And it turned out earlier in his career had said a load of racist and homophobic comments that he put on videos that have since been found out. And the answer would be pretty much all of them. But yeah, that seems to be a bit of a trend where people apologise for videos that they put up 10 years ago, saying that they're a different person nowadays and they understand the issues that have been highlighted to them now. That sort of stuff. But we'll run on to more specific examples if that's okay. So,
yeah.
I'm J Station admitted to doing what in January 2020? Did he claim he had a terminal illness and only had 6 months to live, but he soon found a miracle cure? In truth, there was nothing wrong with him. Or did he fake the death of his girlfriend and try to communicate her via a Ouija board in order to get more subscribers?
So he's either claimed that he had a terminal illness or
he claimed that his girlfriend had died, and he did sort of a thing where he tried to communicate with her via a Ouija board. And both of those were aimed at trying to get more YouTube subscribers and boost their own popularity.
All right. I mean, I'm gonna try and be nice here, because I would hope that the first one in particular, they're both pretty bad things to do. I suppose the second one, you might be able to carry it off depending on how you promoted it. Like, for example, if you filmed a video in the first instance of a fake death, for example, that was obviously fake, of your girlfriend or something, and then you did something as a bit of a jokey kind of thing, then that's possibly acceptable. That's fine. But pretending that you've got a terminal illness is pretty low, isn't it? Very low. So I'd like to think that out of the two, it's going to be the second one, and he sort of faked his girlfriend's death, and hopefully did it in a tasteful way rather than actually tried to pretend she was really, really, really dead. But I'm guessing that's not the case.
You would be right. He did claim his girlfriend had died, and he did a YouTube video where he tried to communicate with via a Ouija board. And that was done in order to get subscribers. I think her parents are a little bit upset, really.
So he didn't even do it in a jokey way where, they sort of made a sort of fake... remember we killed you off in the fish tank once by getting a big dinosaur to eat you, which obviously wasn't real. So he didn't do anything...
Well, I think it was quite noticeable it wasn't real, because you were holding a plastic dinosaur up in front of the camera.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. He wasn't doing anything jokey then.
No, I don't think so. In the fish tank, we once regenerated me into you, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
Like a Doctor Who type thing, which would just come back on at the time.
Yeah.
And then I came back on and shoved you off the screen and said, hey, it's still my programme, this. So, but there we go. So I don't think it was... I think it was... The main point of doing it was so you could get more popularity.
Is that an option for us?
To kill one of us off?
Yeah. I mean, I've tried everything. I've tried replacing my chair. We've tried going live.
Yeah, we'll see what we do.
Yeah.
Well, we could try. We could do it for a special episode.
Yeah.
Like the tram crash that you sort of recreated that time in one of your videos.
Yeah.
Coronation Street.
Yep.
So anyway, Spanish YouTuber Reset was fined about £20,000 and ordered to have his channel closed after he did what in 2017? Did he post videos of him shaking up cans of pop and then hand them out to people on the street so his victims got covered in fizzy drink? Or did he post a video of him giving a homeless man an Oreo, which had the middle scraped out and replaced with toothpaste?
And
both of those were deemed to be disrespectful to the various members of the public or whatever.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's not particularly... anybody could fizz up bottles of pop and give them out, couldn't they? It's not... And I suppose there's an element of it's funny to what you do that to people, don't you? You might do that to your friends or whatever. But I think unsuspecting members of the public, when they're just going about their daily business, they're not going to find it funny. But I don't know. And then the second one, which is really awful. I think I'm going to go for the bad one this time. I think he did something really bad, such as the Oreo thing, and he replaced the middle with toothpaste.
And you'll be correct. Well done.
I mean, that said, they did get toothpaste as well.
Well, I think that was the joke he made that, he's a homeless man, so don't get a chance to clean his teeth very often.
I still don't think it's not acceptable, but,
Well, yeah, he actually got quite a lot of money from the advertising income from that video, which I think amounts to about £2,000, but it was fined by the Spanish court, who said what he was doing was really disrespectful to someone in a disadvantaged position. And it was ordered to have his YouTube account closed down by the sounds of it. I don't know. Did you think he advertised the Oreos being one of those mint Oreos?
Yeah, possibly. He could have just pressed reset on his YouTube. Started again.
Hey.
There we go.
And obviously that's a reference to the YouTuber being called Reset. And a lot of them seem to have quite unusual names.
Is he still going these days? Has he had his YouTube channel removed? Is he back on, or?
I've got no idea.
He might be trying to do a podcast now.
To be fair, I really couldn't care less. But there we go. So what did YouTubers Shane Dawson and Philip DeFranco promote in 2019, which led to criticism? Was it an online counselling service at a cost of around £200 a month that could not guarantee the skills, competence, or background of any counsellor? Or was it an online health food supplement website which cost around £50 a week for 3 supplements whose products were scientifically proven to give you no particular benefits? But they claimed simply consuming a popular product would make you feel better.
Well, that's something that's quite a common thing to do, isn't it? That's kind of.
I wouldn't. I've never done kind of promoting health foods or anything like that. We don't really do any advertising, do we? I know we make our own fake adverts up, but we don't do any actual advertising.
These are real adverts. Prod and a poke. I mean, they've gone bust now because it's only 1 metre, so they don't need their 2 metre poking sticks anymore.
Well, they could chop them off. They've got twice as much stock now, haven't they?
Exactly. They should have made like expanding ones that they can shorten depending on the government guidelines.
Yeah.
In fact, I saw another advert. I saw a similar advert, a jokey advert, not like only a few weeks ago for something very similar. So we got there. Okay. We got there first.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it wasn't done by that rival podcast of ours who seems to be copying us, do they?
Remind me about the first one.
They promoted an online counselling service at a cost of around £200 a month that could not guarantee the skills, competence, or background of any counsellor.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. It's quite a regulated industry, isn't it? Counselling and so on. And where was this? Who were these YouTubers? Where were they from? Or
well, obviously America, I guess, because they all are. It was Shane Dawson and Philip DeFranco.
All right, I'm going to go with I'm going to go with the health foods one. I think. Yeah.
You'd be wrong. They were promoting the service of an online counsellors. So, are you familiar with the YouTuber Logan Paul?
Yes, I am. He somehow decided to be in a boxing match as well, didn't he? Or he was involved in some sort of boxing match.
I think so. I don't know if his brother was also involved in a boxing match. I think Logan Paul's got a brother who's also a YouTuber, whose name I don't know, and it's not Sean Paul.
I know that Logan Paul he's done quite a lot of different things, so I'd be interested to see which question you're going to ask me because I may know the answer to this. So,
well, he travelled to Japan recently, a few years ago, and was generally quite disrespectful in his culture, to Japanese culture, which also included filming a dead body in a sort of suicide forest, which I'm not sure if that was kind of what you knew about him.
That's what I knew, yeah.
Hit the headlines. But what did he do shortly afterwards? Did he post a video of him tasering a dead rat? Or did he post a video of him moving roadkill from the gutter back into the middle of the road so that he got run over again?
It's amazing, isn't it, the effort that people go into to make creative and entertaining videos, but yet that's the stuff that seems to be popular.
Yeah. How much harm do we give to people? None. We just give pure entertainment.
I'm gonna,
I've got that pure.
But... we live. There's a lot of roads around here. We could go out and scoop up roadkill and bring it in. Our show and tell item. Where did I find this? What was this originally?
Now I'm going to cook it by tasering it.
I think it could be either, but I'm going to go with the dead rat one. I think he was tasering a dead rat.
Taser dead rats. Congratulations, you'll be correct. I mean, they're amazing, some of these YouTubers, aren't they? The things that they will do just to triumph for popularity is quite frankly astonishing, but there we go. So prior to this, what did Logan Paul do when he visited Italy? Did he enter a sealed-off area while structural work was being undertaken on a leaning tower of Pisa and push against the building, claiming he was trying to straighten it up? Or did he fly a drone over the Colosseum in Rome? As I say, he's got a huge amount of respect for other people's cultures and sort of former ways of life.
I know somebody who got a drone, and on their first sort of flight with it, out in the peaks, it flew off. They never saw it again. And it was only a few weeks later, which was part of the kind of sort of funny, and this kind of featured in their wedding, because they were getting married as well, so their sort of friends and best man featured this in their wedding speech. But shortly after losing the drone, there was all the issues around the Gatwick drone flying incident and stuff. So they were sort of jokingly pointing the fingers at him. But that was quite disappointing because they're quite expensive, aren't they? But yeah, back to Logan Paul. So did he either try and straighten up push on some structural work, which probably was quite dangerous and not really a good idea?
Well, specifically, it was the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Oh, right, okay.
Which is obviously noted for leaning. It's had a lot of work done to it in the last few years. So I think it's been close to the public, hasn't it, for quite a while?
So what are they actually trying to do? Are they trying to straighten it up or just make sure it doesn't fall down?
I think just making sure it doesn't fall down. I think they're happy. I think it wouldn't really be the same kind of monument if it
Tower
was
of
up straight
Pisa.
again, would it? Yeah. It used to be called Leaning Tower of Pisa. Yeah. I mean, for a while everyone called it Adam, but that wasn't actually his name. But yeah, now we just straighten up. So it's just the Tower of Pisa, you know.
The straight Tower of Pisa.
Yeah, wouldn't be the same. Although to be fair, I mean, if you just walked around the other side of it and viewed it from 90 degrees, then it'd look fairly straight, wouldn't it?
Yeah, true.
It's only any good if you stood sort of adjacent.
I once went to the Sagrada Familia, and which is in Barcelona.
Was it familiar?
No, well, not because I went to the wrong side of it, and I sort of stood there going, "That's all right, isn't it?" Because there's two sides to it. There's one that's kind of new or being built, and then there's the other. There's this sort of really old, sort of, the really, the main side that you go and see. And I went to the wrong side of it, and only saw the wrong side of it.
Oh, well, never mind.
I mean, I don't know what I'm doing with things like that, but anyway, yeah, I'm gonna go then. He pretended he was trying to lean on the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Then I'm going to say that.
French.
Yeah.
Okay, you'll be wrong. He flew a drone over the Colosseum. So yeah, another one. Hilarious. Well done. So in November 2015, how did YouTuber Sam Pepper wind up fellow social media star Sam Goldback? Did he kidnap him and force him to watch a fake video of his best friend being shot? This was filmed and put on YouTube. Or did he film a video of him going round and slapping Sam Goldback's girlfriend, two sisters, and mum on the bottom, and then upload them to YouTube?
Okay.
Neither of which are particularly amusing, I hasten to add, but this is some of the stuff that those crazy kids on YouTube do.
Yeah. You just be careful. I might hold a minute. Can I just go and get the phone? I need to cancel something.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, okay, let's go then. He did it was a kidnap attempt thing.
Did an attempt to kidnap of his best friend being shot? Correct. Well done. Another one about YouTuber Shane Dawson, who, I'll be honest, again, never heard of, but likes his controversy by the sounds of it. What did he claim in a YouTube video in 2019 about the kids' restaurant Chuck E. Cheese? Did he claim that any uneaten slices of pizzas were collected up and then reused in another pizza?
Right.
Or did he say that their hot dogs actually contained dogs?
So he was claiming that the hot dogs actually contain dogs.
Dog meat.
Dog meat in one of his videos.
Yeah.
And what was the other one again? Sorry.
That any uneaten slices of pizza that left on plates afterwards were kind of collected up and put together to make another pizza, which was then warmed up and resold.
And so he had a restaurant of some sort, or
no, sorry, it was talking about a kid's restaurant called Chuck E. Cheese,
and that's a real restaurant.
I believe it's either a restaurant or a restaurant chain.
So he got into,
in America.
So he got into trouble with that particular.
Yeah, for basically slagging them off, and he said one of them. They're both untrue, but he specifically said one of them.
Okay, let's say then
one of them's untrue, and I've made it up and told it to our audience of about 4 people. The other one's untrue, and he told it to his audience of millions of kids who think he's amazing.
Let's go with the dog one. I think the dog meat one. The hot dogs that he claimed were dog meat.
No, he claimed that they go round and collect unused pizza slices and reform them into a pizza. they went round and said that basically that's just not at all true. So there we go. Next up, we've got what happened to Dad05 and Mum05, two prominent YouTubers who
did they have a kid 05?
Well, here is the question: were they charged with child neglect and pleaded guilty in court, or did it transpire that they actually only had 4 children, 1 girl and 3 boys? The 5th child, who occasionally appeared in their videos, was just a friend of the oldest son.
Oh right, okay. I suppose there's nothing. Is there anything wrong with that? I suppose it's just being a bit untruthful, but.
I suppose if you claim that your name is Dad of 5 and Mum of 5, then it might be a reasonable expectation that they've got 5 children. But if not, why don't we just call yourself Mum of 4 and Dad of 4?
Yeah. By the way, I always talk about Ada.
Yeah.
Well, it's just a plastic doll. Now, okay.
And did you just record the voice saying, "Jimbo and Fisher, wait a minute, podcast"?
Yeah, it's exactly what I did. And that's not how she sounds.
Sorry.
You know me pretty good at impressions.
Well, yeah, but I don't really get sort of many impressions of doing sort of 3-year-old children. So, yeah, they're a bit difficult to kind of get the nuances of the voice, really.
Yeah. Right, I'm going to go then that they weren't... No, they were Dad of 5. They did have 5 kids, and it was the other one, the first one, which was...
That they just neglected them and pleaded guilty in court.
Yes.
Correct, you were right.
Too busy YouTubing, innit? So, you need to, when you're doing things like this, you need to make, and YouTubing and podcasting and stuff, you need to make sure your kids are... Hey, put that bleach down. Put it down. Right, okay.
She's probably just trying to cure herself of the coronavirus, no doubt.
Oh, of course, yeah, she's been listening to Trump.
So, what was a popular video on YouTube in January 2018? Was it eating $1 bills or eating washing detergent tablets?
I think I've heard this one. Weirdly, yeah. But I can't remember why. I think it's the washing detergent tablets, and I don't know why. I don't know why.
Tell you what, Jimbo, that'd leave you foaming at the mouth, wouldn't
it? Yeah. So, I think it's the washing, and I don't know why. But then I might be mixing it with another story, which is about people having things like that because of some sort of high, like it being a legal high or something. So again, I don't know if I'm mixing things up. I'm going to go with that one. I think I feel strongest about that. I feel the strongest about eating washing detergent tablets. Now I've only got powder, so I might have to get myself a spoon, and like you do with a tub of Ben & Jerry's, tuck into that later on if there's supposed to be some nice qualities about doing that, but I can't imagine what it is, but go on.
Well done, you will be correct. Am I allowed to swear? Can I swear? No, let's try and keep it clean. Keep it clean.
Wash your mouth out.
Well,
is that what you were going for?
Yeah, that was going to be the joke.
Have I ruined it?
It tasted effing brilliant, and he'd had time to wash his mouth out with soap.
What ruined it?
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah,
sorry.
It's all about working together. So yeah, apparently I'd seen that it was something that was encouraged from teenagers, from people on YouTube, encouraging people to do it, like a bit like the ice bucket challenge years ago.
Yeah.
But obviously eating washing detergent tablets, which obviously is not particularly very good for you. I think there's some kind of poisonous diseases sort of helpline in America that apparently in the first 2 weeks of January, they had more calls in the first 2 weeks of January 2018 than they had for the entire of 2017 in total. So probably not a very good thing to do, and shame on anyone who encouraged people to do it, really. So on to our last question. In August 2017, what did Rage Stew live stream himself doing? Did he live stream himself trying to break into the home of fellow YouTuber Rice Gum? He was arrested after he was found by a police helicopter. Or did he play a game of darts that had the pictures of fellow YouTubers Long Locks, Skull Stack, and Easy Drop Down on there? He was arrested after he encouraged his followers to throw darts at any of them if they saw them in the street. when the police did arrest him, he also live streamed that.
Right. Do you remember what we once filmed? We keep coming back to ourselves here a bit, don't we? But do you remember we once filmed one of the episodes of the Fish Tank started with you burgling me?
Yes, yeah. I climbed through your window dressed as a burglar. Yeah.
With the stripy jumper and everything, didn't you?
Yeah. And then there just happened to be a camera. It's a bit like when you go on one of these programs, like sort of Homes Under the Hammer or Cash in the Attic, and it's got the presenter knocking at the door.
Yeah.
And the door gets answered, and the cameraman just happens to be inside the house, ready for the presenter. And the shocked people look on their faces, like, "Oh, what are you doing here? What's the chances of that? What's the chance of Angela Rippon knocking on our door?" Well, you should have guessed because you got a cameraman stood inside, so that might have been a bit of a giveaway that someone was going to turn up who was fairly famous, weren't it?
I'm going to go with the house burglary one then of a fellow YouTuber or rival YouTuber.
Well done, you'll be correct. That's what he live streamed.
The worst thing is they've got the evidence and everything, haven't they?
Well, exactly, yeah. It's a bit like sort of when Piers Morgan put in his autobiography about how easy it was to hack people's phones and stuff. Not the brightest thing to do, is it?
Well, was it all like was it all okay because it was maybe a bit of a joke and it was actually was it a friend YouTuber or was it an actual serious rival YouTuber?
Well, I don't think so, and I think then some other YouTubers also turned up and had some kind of pretend fight on off screen. One YouTuber claimed it was genuine, the other YouTubers claimed it was fake. So I think kind of these YouTube stars appear to end up being a bit like WWE wrestlers, with some of it being real, some of it being fake. And I'm not just talking about the boobies of some of the female wrestlers I listen to. But yeah, it's a very... I find it a very strange concept and an odd world, these famous YouTubers. So I think we'll just stick to carry on as we are, if that's okay, Jimbo.
Well,
yeah. To get into rivalries with other people.
Yeah, thank you for that, though. I really enjoyed it. It was good.
All right, thank you.
Follow the Waste of Web Space podcast on Twitter, and we'll follow you back. Literally right to your front door. Okay, so it's time to look at the news and what's been going off then. So what we want to go with, Fisher?
Well, as mentioned earlier, pubs and hairdressers are open again.
I mean, I desperately need to get to the hairdressers. I'm booked in for a few weeks' time.
I desperately need to get to the pub, to be honest, but haven't done as yet, and I haven't gone to hairdressers. I think mine sort of needed doing about mid-March. Yeah. I didn't quite get a chance to go before the lockdown, and that was obviously... Well, nearly 4 months ago now, yeah. So it's got quite a bit of extra length on it at the moment.
Well,
and I think yours is looking fairly similar.
My plan is to make a big sort of evening and morning of it. So I'm going to go next weekend when things have settled down a bit. I'm going to have a massive day out, stay out as late as I possibly can, and then get next Friday, and then get up as early as I can Saturday morning, and go to the hairdressers. Maybe have a pint in there with me, hair of the dog, and there you go, like that. Okay. I mean, it was average, but take that.
Yeah, that's all right. It's all right. Yeah, so they're open again. I'm not quite sure exactly what the results are going to be, or kind of whether we're going to end up with a second lockdown or an increase in our rates.
How annoyed must you be in Leicester? The pubs reopen, and you're in lockdown.
And they're locked down again, yeah, which appears to be, I think a little bit frustrating for anyone there. Sorry, that's not a coronavirus cough, isn't it? As far as I'm aware, although you should always act like you've got it, I think is a recommendation from some people.
Oh, so you're going to go drive to Durham then?
Yeah, just in case, just to make sure I can see properly. Which I think actually, we'll come to that in a few moments when I talk about another news story. But yeah, it must be a bit frustrating. And there are a lot of places that are increasing and a bit more concerned over it. I'm not quite sure why it's kind of more prevalent there.
Well, they're saying they think it started in a factory, didn't they, where they had a big spike of cases and then it kind of got out from there. But
so do we want to? I'm not sure which particular factory it is. I think there have been quite a lot of people at the Walker's Crisp factory who potentially have got it, sort of 20 odd people.
Mm-hmm.
I was a bit concerned about Gary Lineker, but well, he doesn't actually work there; he just advertises them.
Yeah,
must be a bit bad. The most famous employee isn't someone who even works there in the first place.
Mm.
But there we go. obviously, as well, another story that's been rumbling up, well, not rumbling on, that sort of trivialise it a little bit, that's been a bit more popular and sort of gathered a bit more of a head of steam in the last few months, has been the Black Lives Matter organisation. And Boris Johnson, when he was asked last week, as to whether or not he would take the knee if required, you know what he said? He said he doesn't do gestures.
Oh, so Boris, you're talking about Boris Johnson here? Who's Boris Johnson? Is that the bloke who?
It's the fact you might have seen him on the news recently. He used to come out and clap for the NHS.
Oh, that was a nice gesture.
Night.
Yeah, that was a nice gesture.
Yeah, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Is it Boris Johnson who did he name his one of his kids, his recent kids, after a couple of the doctors that helped him when he had coronavirus as a grand gesture?
No, because he doesn't do gestures, does he?
Oh, of course he doesn't. Right, okay.
The one I'm talking about is the Boris Johnson who drove a JCB through a polystyrene wall that had the word "Let's break the Brexit deadlock" on it.
Oh, right, okay.
Oh, no, sorry, not him, because he doesn't do gestures.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Oh, and actually, I've read that, it's the 72nd anniversary of the NHS today, isn't it? Which is, great.
Yeah.
And a big shout out to the NHS and all the key workers and anyone who's ever been involved with the NHS. But I think Boris Johnson said that he's going to clap and applaud them tonight, actually. But it can't be him. It can't be, because he doesn't do gestures, so...
Doesn't do gestures.
So it's a message that he does do gestures. He just only does the ones that he feels.
No,
something...
he doesn't do gestures, because it's not as though he does things like take a kipper onto the stage at the Tory party conference or whatever to talk about the European Union, and also a load of rubbish about why it has to be frozen when it's in transit, which is obviously to stop people getting listeria. But as I say, he doesn't do gestures. And it's the same person who does press-ups for the Daily Mail, but obviously he doesn't do gestures. It
can't have been in the Bullingdon Boys Club either, because they don't do gestures, apparently. Do they? Do they not?
I think that's... isn't that initiations?
Oh, sorry, I'm mixed up. Maybe he does initiations then.
Yeah, but there we go. So I thought it was quite an ironic statement from him when he's got a whole history of doing sort of pointless gestures that when it came to doing one to represent the millions of black people who are sort of trying to get behind the movement of Black Lives Matter, that he claims that he doesn't do something that he quite blatantly does. Isn't he? I think on the same day he actually said that he was going to light a candle in Downing Street.
No, he doesn't do gestures for sure. It can't have been him. It must be somebody else.
Must not be him. But he was specifically lighting one candle for the 45,000 people who've passed away with coronavirus in this country.
Well, I'm sure they'll appreciate that. And all the families.
Which, I mean, how much of a candle each does that person get? Sort of, it's not a huge amount, is it? You thought. Although I suppose it would be quite a big ask to light a candle for every single person that had lost a life. And obviously might feel a bit more guilty about the general way in which it's been handled if that was the case. But there we go. But it's a good job he doesn't do gestures.
Yeah. I mean, he could ask his dad about these gestures. Actually, I think his dad's in the middle of sort of trying to excuse himself from holidaying in Greece when he weren't supposed to, isn't he, as well? So
Is in Greece?
Well, I don't know if he's there now, but he's in the middle of excusing himself from taking a holiday during lockdown in Greece when he wasn't supposed to be.
Yeah. Well, perhaps Boris was meant to go, but he had to go instead. I think, to be fair, what he did say is the main reason he went to Greece, to his holiday home in Greece, was to ensure that it was COVID safe.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Probably the best way to ensure that would be to not go there in the first place.
Yeah.
You would have thought
it was probably just on official business, being technically part of the government and all that, because obviously Boris just sends him to do everything, doesn't he, nowadays?
But what Boris did do actually last Friday is he did an interview with, I think it was actually during the same interview about where he said he wouldn't take the knee because obviously he doesn't do gestures. He was asked about people playing recreational cricket, whether we're allowed to do that again. And he said,
"Can I stop you a second? Is Boris Johnson the same person that did the press-ups as well?"
Yes, yeah. But he doesn't do gestures.
Oh, so it can't... Oh, right, okay, fair enough, yeah.
But he said, well, we can't play cricket because there's other things. You have to have your tea partway through the game, although, to be fair, if you want a bit of tea, you can just have it halfway through a podcast. But you have to do that during the game. You have to have change rooms and all that kind of thing. So we can't carry on playing cricket. Well, we can't play cricket at this stage. Then come the evening press conference at around 5 o'clock, he said, Oh, well, I made a bit of a mistake, didn't I? I think you have to get reviewed by the third umpire, and you can now play cricket again. So, thank God he doesn't just change his mind on a whim sort of all the time, depending on which way the wind's blowing. But I say that's the person we've got as our current Prime Minister. And in America, with the presidential race going, and kind of gathering a head of steam as well, then there is a surprise entrant into it, isn't there?
There is,
what
yeah.
What you're saying?
Kanye West.
Really?
He's going for. Well, he apparently says he's going to run for presidency again. I think he sort of said about this in the past, didn't he? But he's actually Donald Trump. Just to be fair, Fisher, because you always say I only play it for you. He's actually a fan of the current current US president. So he's going to be, if that's the case, and Kanye West goes for it, he's going to be going against him.
Yeah, what's the point in running against someone who you quite like? So it defeats the object, surely. You're more likely to hand the victory to the person who's not running it.
Yeah.
Have we got any jokes about this at all?
Not particularly, but I suppose it would be interesting to see if during any of his election sort of campaigns, Taylor Swift was to storm the stage and interrupt any of his campaigns or anything like that.
Okay, well, I was going to say Kanye West Wing.
Oh, yeah, there you go. I mean, he does think he could be a stronger presidential candidate.
Well, this is where it falls down because I don't know Kanye West songs, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, like whether it's whether it's actually true or not that he's going for presidency or not. I mean, I don't know. I just heard it through the wire, I think that might be all I've got.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably two more than I could have managed.
Yeah.
I suppose it probably gets on quite well with Donald Trump because I think Donald Trump's wife is a gold digger.
Yeah. There you go. I was going to do something similar. That one of his policies is he wants to reopen the mines in the sort of California, Florida area, is it, where they had the gold rush, of course.
San Francisco 49ers, I think, weren't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So because obviously
gold rush
feels like he could be a bit of a
gold digger.
But I think that might be. I think we've done that now.
Yeah. So we talk about Richard Madeley instead. Very much the UK's answer to Kanye West.
Yeah.
In terms of you sometimes think, what on earth are they talking about?
Yeah, because Richard Madeley wears those kind of pointless sunglasses that you can't see anything through as well. You remember those lined sunglasses? There was pretty much no point to them because it was like wearing closed blinds on your face, wasn't it? It
just obscures sort of various bits of vision as you're going along. Yeah,
certainly blocked the sun, but it blocked everything else as well.
Yeah, well, you don't got the sun in your eyes, then, have you? You've just got the pointless sunglasses obscuring your face. So Richard Madeley wrote an article last week in the Daily Telegraph, and to be fair to him, he did actually apologise after the article. But we do this show that we live stream, and every now and again you misspeak or you're not quite thinking correctly. But I think there's a slight difference between accidentally writing something down, probably checking it, looking at it again. Because at the moment I'm still doing my writing cricket match reports. I've now done game reports now for the last 63 days that encompasses about 49,300 words that I've done and reviewed 120 cricket games.
How do you remember what happened in each match? Did you have notes of these already written down or something?
Well, on the internet there's a scorecards from the game and it kind of gives you brief details of what happened. You can work it out. And also, obviously, I've played in a lot of these games, so I can just remember some of them anyway.
That's a good memory, though, because that's a very good memory to be able to remember the mood and the atmosphere, or the.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a decent memory for these sort of things anyway, just because I just happen to. It's one of those things that I'm quite surprisingly good at, having a good memory on. There are a few games that I've actually written details where it's not actually had any form of match reports, or just to go from what I think happened at the time.
Going back to one of your first jobs in Morrison's, I remember we used to ask you. We used to fire quick sort of fire questions at you, didn't we? We used to go, "Where are the chopped tomatoes?" And you'd go, "Aisle 4." Straight away.
Yeah. Again, I got. Tell you what, we used to have a lot of fun in the old days, didn't we, Jimbo? But, wasn't it great when we used to get the bus to college?
I mean, I never actually checked any of these. Actually, could have just been saying anything, and I would have had no idea.
No, I think I got a really good knowledge of where products were on various shelves at the Morrison supermarket I worked at. But there we go. Although nowadays, my Ground Asda or any other shops, I'm convinced they move their products around a lot more often than they tell us.
Are you still managing to keep to the rules of going down them? I know we're going off topic a bit here, but are you still managing to keep the rules of going down the aisle in the right way?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
See, I'm doing that, but I'm often forgetting things. So what I'm doing is I'm not technically breaking the rules because I'm going backwards. I'm actually rolling backwards.
Well, I think if there's no one there, it's
facing
fine,
the right
isn't
way.
it? If your aisle's empty, then you can do what you want on it, as far as I'm concerned. But there's no point in just going up to the end, going back round, then coming round the next way. Or certainly not going to the end of the shop, then coming and doing a second shop round. But anyway, Richard Madeley, we've drifted off from Richard Madeley a little bit. I think he does some kind of agony uncle type column, and someone wrote to him and said that they were concerned about the noises coming out from their next door neighbours. There was a lot of sort of screaming and shouting and banging late at night, and they were concerned during lockdown that maybe someone was sort of suffering from domestic abuse, and would they feel guilty if something happened and they hadn't sort of done anything? Well, Richard Madeley, ever the competent agony uncle, do you know what he said? He said, well, it'd be fine. I mean, if he was going to kill her, then he'd have killed her by now.
Oh, right, okay.
Thanks for that, Richard. That's that sorted. Didn't realise it was that simple and straightforward, really. I would say he has actually since apologised, saying that he misjudged his article and not quite struck the right tone and content of it.
The thing is, if it's an article, though, it's quite, it's not like, when you're doing a live broadcast, you say something and it's gone, hasn't it? It's too late.
Yeah.
But it's an article they could have checked and thought
and
about.
also, presumably someone else checks it as well before they kind of put it to press. And maybe someone might have said, no, I don't think that's quite true. I mean, it's a bit like sort of saying, tell you what, I once did some drink driving. I was fine, so therefore, absolutely fine, I'll carry on doing it. If I was going to have a crash, I'd have had it by now.
Right.
Tell you what, I leave my front door unlocked all the time, because if someone was going to burgle me, they'd have done it by now. Wouldn't be a problem.
At least Richard Madeley did apologise, though. We forgot to do our apology of the week again, didn't we?
Yeah, so thanks to Richard for apologising on our behalf. Although actually we did forget to do our apology, which was generally for the sheer amount of references last week to being episode 69 and some of the smut that was in there.
Yeah.
Is that about right, Jimbo?
Yeah, and also I think I offended my mother as well by going on about her persistent nagging over the chair situation.
So did she nag you about that as well, then?
Yeah. I don't nag. Yeah, we've done that apology now anyway. So there you go. Should we move on?
Yeah, well, next week am I going to have to apologise to your mum now? Then is that how it's going to work? You think?
Sorted for next week now. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's move on to the next bit.
Okay, so I have done a bit of a feature then about pubs because, of course, the pubs have reopened and we have named this episode Club Covidana. So I thought we'd do a bit of an episode about pubs, a bit of a feature about pubs, okay? So there's two parts to it. The first part is about pub names, and you've got to tell me which of these pub names are real and which ones are fake. Real pub names, and obviously some fake ones I've put in there as well. And then the second part is a bit, like when we do you started doing this a while ago, where you describe a celebrity using only two words. The celebrities that I've picked out are landlords, so they have their own pubs, okay? And I've tried to stick to pubs rather than restaurants, because a lot of celebrities who have restaurants, but I've tried to stick to the ones who've got more pubs, even if they do have a restaurant where it's, kind of tends to be more like a pub, if you know what I mean. Okay. Well, there might be one in there that's wrong, but yeah.
Are there a lot of celebrities who've got restaurants, or are there just a lot of celebrity chefs who've got restaurants?
Well, that's what I mean. I think I've only got one celebrity chef in there, but I wanted to put one in there anyway. Okay. So the first one then is real or fake pub names. Okay, and people can play along with this if you are watching live or listening, or watching afterwards, and write in the comments if you want how many you managed to get compared to Fisher and all those kind of things, all right? So, first of all...
worth pointing out as well at this point, actually, that that quiz that I said that I did that I came last on, that was about pubs.
It was? Oh, well, okay. Yeah. So some of this might feature then, possibly. All right then, number one. This pub name, is it real or is it fake? The Jolly Taxpayer.
The Jolly Taxpayer. Or is there any details of where that location might be? Is it an ironic named place at the heart of Westminster?
Not particularly. I will tell you where the pub is, but I don't think I'm going to tell you until you've guessed it.
Okay. Jolly Taxpayer. think some. No, I don't. I think that's fake. I don't think someone would be that brazen to name it as the Jolly Taxpayer.
So you think it's fake?
I think it's fake.
So it's a real pub. Jimmy Carr and Ken Dodd wouldn't have a drink. Wouldn't have a drink in there apparently. Obviously because of recent former things. But now I'm joking, of course. I think it's closed now though, and it's a Starbucks. Which is ironic. No, I'm only joking. That's not true either. I don't know if it's still open, but I don't, and I don't know if it is actually a Starbucks. But anyway, number 2, the Nobody Inn.
Nobody Inn. Oh yeah, it'd be quite good to try and make a pun on the fact that a lot of pubs have the word "inn" after them. So yeah, surely the stumble in and that kind of probably more stumble out actually when it comes to leaving a pub. You would have thought, as opposed to not often you stumble in unless you're on a big pub crawl. So I think.
Can I just chip in as well? The last pub in the first question, the Jolly Taxpayer, was in Portsmouth.
All right, okay. So it's got a bit of a naval theme to it with the jolly. You would have thought. So the second one, let me have a think. I'm going to say that's the Nobody Inn. I'm going to say that's false.
I'm trying to give you booze, but it's not happening, Fisher. There you go. Got there in the end.
Also, that's quite apt for a pub quiz. It's trying to give me some booze.
No, it's real, and it's in Devon, in Doddy's Comley. Doddy's Comley? Is that a place you've heard of before? I want to give people details if you're ever out on the road and you want to try and find these pubs. But yeah, it's real. So the Nobody's Inn, or Nobody Inn, takes its name from a moment in the pub's history when a former landlord's coffin was brought back to the pub for a wake, but nobody was there or showed up to the wake. So that's where it comes from.
So
obviously it would have changed, yeah. Number 3 then. Well Hung Inn.
Well Hung Inn. Now, surely you couldn't have somewhere that's brazen. Although isn't there a pub opposite the Sheffield Arena called the Noose and Gibbet or Noose and Gibbet?
Possibly. I think I have heard of that before.
Which is obviously reference to hanging people. Obviously quite an unusual name. The Well Hung Inn, which obviously, I don't know, has it got sort of a picture of a horse outside, which is obviously quite common for pubs. I think that must be false.
Oh, no. Hold on a minute. You are right with that one.
All right,
correct, sorry. Missed it the button. There you go. You're right. Yeah, that is not a real one. It's made up, but there is a pub in London called the Hung, Drawn and Quartered, and obviously that refers to the historical event Brexit, of course. Moving on. Number 4, the Skiving Scholar. Skiving
Scholar. Is that near a university of some form, perhaps?
You are correct with that, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I think
if it was to be real.
If it was to be real, yeah. Which you may have just given the answer away there, or it depends how much of a game you're playing. I think that could be. I think that could be a genuine pub name somewhere near a university, in a university town.
Yeah, Plymouth, and it's just off the Plymouth University campus, apparently. The Skiving Scholar, because people, when you're at university or college or whatever, you tend to do a bit of skiving every now and again, don't you? When the rules get relaxed a little bit. I know you probably didn't, Fisher, which is why you probably did really well. But if you remember the Belvedere days at Thomas Rotherham College.
Oh, well, yeah, of course. Yeah. Used to go there at lunchtime, playing the quiz machine.
Yeah.
Play pool.
Spend way too much time and money in there.
Yeah.
Now at Tesco's.
I worked at Morrison's. Now at Tesco, yeah. It's a bit disappointing.
Yeah.
There's a pub at Leeds University. Well, this might be a question that comes up, obviously, but isn't there a pub in Leeds City Centre nearest the university? It's called the Library. Which I imagine it would
very
be
confusing.
Would be great. Well, it would be great, wouldn't it, if your parents ring up and you're in there? Say, yeah, I'm in the library. I'm in the library. Yeah, working hard. Yeah, doing plenty in the library. Yeah. Fourth night on the trot, I've been in the library. Well, it's coming towards the exam period, isn't
it? Number 5, Sweaty Betty's.
Sweaty Betty's. I think that's not a very nice name at all, is it, for a pub? Who would want to go to the Sweaty Betty's? I suppose it's a bit like if you go to Homefirth, aren't there some places called like the Wrinkly Stocking and all that sort of stuff in honour of the cafe in Last of the Summer Wine?
Mm-hmm.
But the Sweaty Betty's, I think that could be true. I think there could be a pub somewhere called the Sweaty Betty's.
Nah, I made that one up. Next then, the legend of Oily Johnnies.
Legend of Oily Johnnies. Well, I suppose
there's a faulty condom machine in there, by the way.
Yeah, sounds like it needs to be lubricated a bit more, or not enough. I don't know. Legend of Oily Johnnies. Where on earth would that pub be located? Other than somewhere kind of in the remote Highlands where there was some kind of legend of some form. But I think that could be true.
Well done, yeah. So it's in Cumbria, and it's named after a customer. So it got renamed. The pub got renamed after a customer who used to sell paraffin oil in the pub. So that's where the oily thing comes from. And I'm guessing he was probably called Johnny.
Johnny, I guess, yeah.
Unless the containers he sold them in were called Johnny's or something. I don't know. Number 7, this is your last one. My father's moustache.
Oh, father's moustache. Well, I've currently compiled a quiz to do. Well, obviously we did a quiz in terms of famous moustaches. I have also compiled another quiz that I'm presenting to other people that have got pictures of people's moustaches on there. It was quite good fun to do. And
you're in the process of compiling that, then, are you?
I've sent it out, but I've not had the responses back.
All right, okay.
I did also do another quiz a few months ago where I got pictures of people's moustaches on there.
You've got obsession with moustaches?
No, not particularly. I thought it'd be quite a good. People like the pictures around on quizzes, though, don't they?
Yeah.
Which obviously is not a very clever thing to say, bear in mind this quiz is purely verbal. But it's kind of a decent way to identify people. So I thought it'd be a good one to moustaches. You can identify people from the moustache, so kind of part of the face. I thought would be a good one.
Does your father have a moustache?
He has a beard and a moustache.
Yeah.
I've never seen him without a beard.
Does it have the remnants of Schweppes lemonade in it? You know, like the droplets of
No, I know it's a difficult concept to get your head around, but my father does wash. So I have never seen him without a beard, though.
Right, okay.
But it's fair to say. So, father, I think the father's moustache could be a real place.
Well done. So it's in I think it's Louth is how they say it, in Lincolnshire.
Which, strangely enough, is actually where my father was born.
Is it?
It is, yeah.
That's good. So yeah, in Louth in Lincolnshire. But there's when I looked.
No, sorry, I don't think he was born in Louth. I think he moved to Louth at a very young age for a few years.
Right. Well, It's weird on this because when I went on the website, because I thought, you might be able to find a bit of a story about why some of these pubs have got these names, but there's no reference to really why they're called My Father's Moustache. Also, they just think it's just a normal name for a pub.
Got to call it something, I suppose, haven't you?
Well, something I used to do, and still occasionally do when I'm on my travels, is I used to do it with a friend of mine from Barnsley College, Gary. When we used to go kind of to UCAS events and things like that, when we were driving around different locations, we'd have a game where, and I think it's a game that other people play as well, where you go past each pub and you take it in turns, and the first pub that appears is the next, in turns. Like with the next pub you drive past your pub, and then the one after's the other person's pub, and however many legs your pub name has got adds to your score. So if it's like the Greyhound, then you get 4 points. If it's like the King or the Queen or whatever, you get 2 points.
2 points, yeah.
So that was a good little thing. But if anyone want to play those kind of games, and you're bored on travels, that's one for you. So now then, I thought, see how quickly you can go through this list of 12 famous landlords. So these 12 celebrities have all got some sort of pub, okay? And like I said, most of these are pubs rather than restaurants. One of them might be a little bit more restauranty, but it's kind of still a pub, if you know what I mean, okay?
Okay.
So...
Are you doing it into 2 words, or have I got to try and...
Yeah, there's 2 words for each person. So sometimes these are really easy, but then sometimes they can be quite difficult, because it's almost like for some people you need more than 2 words, don't you? But we'll see how we go on. So see if you can smash all 12 of them, Fisher, and how quick you can do it. Are we ready?
Yep. Okay.
Here we go. Your time starts now. So, footballer, hair.
Footballer hair. Well, David Beckham probably is quite well known for his hair, so I would say...
There you go.
David Beckham. Yep.
Congratulations. Next, ginger DJ.
I would have thought that probably is Chris Evans, who's got He's got loads of pubs, cars, all that sort of stuff. So
Next, ginger singer.
Ginger singer, or well, it's one or two, isn't it? It's either it could be Mick Hucknall, but I think it's probably Ed Sheeran. I think has got a pub in his garden at his place he lives at in Suffolk.
Are you locking that in?
Yeah, let's lock in Ed Sheeran.
Well done. That's 3 out of 3. Next, chat host. Now this got tough. Chat host.
Sorry, your signal dropped out a little bit there, Jimbo. Mine did, so I didn't quite catch that.
Chat host.
Chat host. Okay. So that could be. That's not particularly. That's a bit broad, isn't it? Really, because that doesn't really nail it down to.
I was struggling.
To nail it down to sort of potentially a lot of people. It could be Michael Parkinson. It could be Alan Carr. It could be anyone who hosts a chat show. Basically, it could be Graham Norton.
Who are you going to lock in?
Who would I like to lock in a pub? I'm going to say chat host. Go on, let's say Michael Parkinson.
Well done.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. When you said that first, I thought, I can't believe he's got it on his first one. Next then.
What you should have said for Michael Parkinson was Parker Penn.
Yeah, I
would have got it.
I was thinking about that, but anyway. Next, science chef.
Science chef. So I'm assuming this is probably someone who is a chef, at a guess, who does sort of some unusual recipes and different things with their food. So maybe someone like Heston Blumenthal.
Well done, 5 out of 5.
He likes to do some slow roast badger or whatever he does.
Licorice main courses and stuff like that. Little thing here, he possibly nearly he could have become technically my step uncle at some stage in my life. That's just a little fact for you there. Maybe we'll come back to it at the end.
Wouldn't it be great if you did the catering for your wedding, right? So we've got some caramelised iPad going on your cheese and onion macaroons. Yeah, we're fine.
Next then, actor Gandalf.
Well, that must be the fellow who plays Gandalf in the Lord of the Rings films, who is Sir Ian McKellen, I think. Is that right?
Well done, 6 out of 6. Next, director Madonna.
It must be that guy. Yeah, Guy Ritchie, surely.
I had to have the full answer. Next then, model racer. This I think you're gonna struggle here.
Model racer.
Model, and I'll give you an extra tip. This is
no, I don't want it.
No,
I don't want it because I think it might be Jodie Kidd.
Oh, well done. How did you get that? Anyway.
Well, because she's a model and she's quite keen on racing cars.
Oh, well done. I was going to say she's the only female on the list, and there's your little extra clue, but well done. Next then, cricketer Saturdays.
Oh, cricketer Saturdays. Oh, so it's a cricket player, and Saturdays obviously could be a reference to playing cricket, but I don't think it is. I think it might be a reference to the band The Saturdays, and I think Molly King from The Saturdays goes out with Stuart Broad, who plays cricket for England, who owns a pub company called the Cat and Wickets, I think, something like that.
Well done. Well done. Fisher, you're doing well. You've only got 3 to go. Next then, actor Luther.
Well, obviously it must be Luther Vandross, clearly, who's more commonly known as a singer. But actor Luther was it Idris Elba who played Luther?
Well done. 2 more to go.
You can go to the toilets in that pub, but they are a long way away. It's quite a Luther experience, isn't it?
Next, singer Bedlam. Now this was a tough one. I went with that in the end. I could have gone with something different, but singer Bedlam.
Well, it's obviously. Well, I'm assuming it's a singer, and Bedlam. What I would think of, a lot of pubs obviously at the moment are Bedlam, so that probably doesn't narrow it down. But in particular, back in 2005, the album Back to Bedlam was released by James Blunt.
Oh, well done. And to make it 12 out of 12, Fisher, this is going to be tough, okay? This was the toughest one. Never Gonna.
Never Gonna. So it's someone who obviously is a massive, massive fan of Tottenham Hotspurs, would never support Arsenal. It's just the implication from that thing. So could it be Lord Sugar? No, I don't think it's going to be Lord Sugar. I think I'm tempted to give up, but I'm never going to give up. Is it Rick Astley?
Hey! Oh, Fisher, well done. Everyone on your feet. On your feet, everyone. Incredible. 12 out of 12. I wonder if anyone at home would have got the same score. I bet you're pleased with that, aren't you?
Oh, I know my pubs, Jimbo. I
think I've got to say that, you know, the 2 words that I gave you were pretty good picks as well. Like I said, going back to some of those, yeah, I did think about the sort of, the Parkinson one was the one that you nearly tripped up on, I suppose, but I was struggling. I was thinking about Parker Penn, or I could have gone Barnsley Host, maybe. That might have helped, looking back. Heston Blumenthal, possibly at some stage, could have become my step-uncle. But didn't, and that's all I need to say about that story, because it's... Anyway.
What a fantastic anecdote that was, Jimbo.
There you go.
Really good. Tell you what, you could go on Parkinson and talk about that. He'd be there saying, and I remember my great friend Billy Conley. You should have said that, actually. Billy Conley as your thing for Parkinson. And I've got my friend here, Jimbo. He used to be known as Adam, but nowadays he goes by the name Jim. So I believe you know that Heston Blumenthal. Well, yes. He could have been my step-uncle, but there we go.
Did you enjoy that, Fish?
Or uncle-in-law. Yes, thank you. It was very good there. Almost as good as being in a pub itself.
The Waste of Web Space podcast. You can find us online, wasteofwebspace.co.uk. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, and Fish is always on Pornhub, dirty boy. So I think that brings to an end our Waste of Web Space podcast, episode 70 for today. Thank you very much for listening to us this afternoon, or watching us live if you have been, or if you're listening to us after we've broadcasted this or whatever, which a lot of people will do. As always, please do feel to get in touch. Anything you want to chip in with for future episodes, we always appreciate any input, and we'd always give you a shout out and things like that. Let us know how you got on in our little quizzes, if you had a go yourself, and if you managed to get something that Fisher didn't, or get something that I didn't. We'd like to know.
I didn't get something I didn't. I got 12 out of 12.
In that last bit you did. Anyway.
You're only as good as your last quiz.
Exactly. So, thank you very much, Fish. Don't forget you can find us on wasteofwebspace.co.uk, at wasteofwebspace on Twitter, Facebook as well, and Instagram now as well. And of course, you can, if you're watching this live, or you're watching it and you want to kind of listen to this instead, not as well as, that's just
just if you are watching this, if you are listening to it, just shut your eyes.
Yeah,
same thing,
But if it's the kind of thing you want to do on the commute in the car, and you want to actually listen, then obviously we are on all the sort of podcasting platforms now, really, even Spotify, which is the latest one that we're on, so you can subscribe and listen on there, and leave us reviews as well. We always love the reviews. We'll always read them out, good or bad, probably. Anyway,
rather read the good ones if that's okay, please. And talk about on the commute. You can't commute in at the moment, can you? Because you should be working from home if you can work from home.
True.
Unless you need to go into work, in which case go into work.
Yeah.
It's clear advice. So we've done 20... was it at Christmas time we did episode 50? So we've already done 20 episodes this year.
Yeah.
Which I think is a reasonable rate of knots.
We're above last year's listening figures as well already. So halfway through the year, we are, well, more than halfway now. We're above last year's listening figures as well. Just for a little bit of info for you, Fisher.
But we've probably produced twice as many podcasts, so I'm not really sure that's saying a huge amount, to be honest.
Stop poo-pooing our work. See you later.
All right, see you next week. Bye-bye.